here's Brody Brazil.
Two things I need to say before starting this video. Number one, thank you to the channel called Lawrence Butler Enjoyer. They're the ones that have saved and archived this broadcast from opening night 1990 at the Coliseum. It's where the 1989 A's got their World Series rings. And number two, that's the obvious reason why I wanted to do this video, to revisit a special time in my life and to pass this along to future generations of young people who will, quite honestly, just not have this opportunity. Little did I know back then that the Oakland A's would ever leave Oakland. And even until recent years, I had no clue that something like this would never even be a possibility again. So without further delay, let's begin the broadcast from Channel 5.
This is a KPIX sports presentation.
Classic intro right there.
And the Oakland A's have a return engagement in the World Series.
Bob Costas.
The Oakland A's cut loose in Toronto last October. Their victory over the Blue Jays.
Watch Dave Stewart here. Watch this.
Into the World Series.
You dirty dog!
But the Battle of the Bay would be a massacre.
Such stew.
A lopsided four-game sweep. Any joy swept away by the sobering events of October 17th.
Who could forget? Nobody.
Spring, a new beginning, and still
Lockout.
The celebration was on hold. Tonight, it's time to cut loose again as the victors get their spoils.
There's the ring. Oh, look at this open. Oh, my goodness. Terry Steinbach, Mike Gallego is in there. Jose, Mike Moore, Carney, Stu, Dave Henderson. This is pretty classic.
The world champion Oakland A's opening night special.
I mean, wait, I'm going to rewind this for a second. But did you just hear what was said by that announcer? The world champion Oakland A's. I'm gonna play that one more time and let it sink in here.
The world champion Oakland A's opening night special. Live from the Oakland Coliseum. KPIX sports director Wayne Walker.
That's how I remember it, by the way, kids.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Oakland Coliseum, where a sellout crowd is on hand here to pay tribute to the 1989 World Champions. And
Sellout crowd, opening night 1990, no surprise. But just look at the Coliseum in all its glory here.
off the 1990 season against the Minnesota Twins. And the skipper who took the A's on that wonderful ride to the World Series title last year is with us, Tony La Russa. Tony, I know you're gearing for tonight's game, but one quick look back about last year. The things about this ball club that stand out in your mind the most.
I think it's just the team feeling that we've acquired, Wayne, and almost like no matter what you throw at us, an injury or a slump, we just feel we're going to pull out of it some way because we all support each other. So I think it's a real strong team feeling.
Tony, I don't think I've ever seen a better job of a team over a long period of time, bearing down and staying with it day to day, and that's not easy to do when you have 162 games.
Well, you're right, Wayne. You know as well as I do, the up and down quality of most teams is because that's the kind of way it is to be humanly possible. You've got to really rise above that. And our team has been so consistent, and that's really what we're trying to do again this year. We just want to be a hard-playing team every day.
Wayne Walker, by the way, shout out to him, professional athlete turned sportscaster turned sports director of Channel 5. He's in his prime here, and so is Tony La Russa. I mean, it's great to see like both these gentlemen on the broadcast right at the very top. How about that? You get the manager of the A's interviewed in the very first moments of your program. What a get.
Everybody knows about the short spring training. Do you feel you're ready?
Yeah, I think we're going to surprise everybody with how well we play.
All right, Tony, good luck. Go get him tonight, and congratulations again on last year.
Little did they know they would be in the World Series. They would just get swept by the Cincinnati Reds. Look at the Coliseum in the background. I mean, again, no Mount Davis. That's the old Coliseum. That's what it used to look like out there.
Hi, my colleague Joe Fonzie joins us now. I know your name, Fonz. Joe Fonzie joins us now. He's been with the A's since the spring training lockout ended. And Joe, you know quite a bit about this team because you have seen them almost on a daily basis.
Shout out to Joe Fonzie, too. Still doing his thing over at KTVU. This is 1990. He's still in the career in the Bay Area here in 2024.
I think the question that everyone was asking this year as spring training got started was, can the A's repeat and how difficult is it to repeat? There's no question about the fact that it is difficult given the fact that the American League West is certainly stronger than it was last year. But I would think that right now you certainly have to consider the A's the class of the major leagues.
Here we go.
Two of the game's most feared power hitters, the premier leadoff hitter, and a supporting cast worthy of top billing on most other teams.
See, and this is the education that I think the next generation will always need. How good that Oakland A's team was, how the fans around here supported it. I mean, this was, turns out to be the pinnacle of A's baseball, at least in my lifetime.
Watch the A's at work, and it's not hard to imagine a third straight trip to the World Series.
Heck.
I feel proud, being a world champion and doing what we have the past couple of years, and winning, just such a great feeling to win.
I said one time, and I'm very positive this time there is a dynasty team here. And you're going to see the Oakland A's on top for 3 or 4 or 5 more years to come.
Man, that's the frustrating part. If they just won another one in 90 and maybe another one in 91 and keep the band together. I mean, pretty much after this 90 season, it was tough sledding for the A's to have any chance to win another World Series.
But this potential dynasty lost 3 key players during the offseason.
Phillips dives and smothers it. Throws. Got him.
The lure of free agent dollars took Tony Phillips, the team's most versatile performer in '89, to Detroit. 19-game winner Storm Davis now pitches for Kansas City.
How you feeling?
And most importantly, Dave Parker is now a Milwaukee Brewer. The A's may not miss Parker's 97 RBIs as much as his clubhouse presence.
Hey, what's up, Austin? Look at you. I see you. Jose look-alike. I see you.
Jose look-alike? Is that what Dave Parker just said?
What I miss most about Oakland? I don't know, my sons. I got a lot of sons over there. I got Jose Canseco, who I was very close to. Ricky Henderson and I became very tight. I would just think the overall personnel, Dave Henderson, Langsford, all those guys were very close to me.
By the way, that's at Phoenix Municipal Stadium. I can recognize the roof in the background. That was the old spring training home of the A's before they moved out to Mesa.
I just miss that friendship.
Dave Parker's not here, and it feels like the camp is not full. I mean, 3 or 4 guys are missing or something.
So who will fill the leadership gap?
Right now, I really don't know. Is any one guy, corner left.
There's Ricky and his Mizuno batting gloves. I wanted those batting gloves, those neon green ones, so bad.
Yeah, probably as long as anybody been with Oakland A's. So, if I was looking for somebody, I'd probably look at him for us to take their leadership.
Lansford, in the past more reserved, seems ready for the role.
I paid close attention this year to the Super Bowl when the 49ers were doing so well. And
Santa Clara's own Carney Lansford.
After the game, I listened to a lot of comments that they made, and that'd be a heck of an idea to come up with a T-shirt for everybody here. It says, "Contentment stinks, and stay focused."
The NFL went a decade without a repeat champion until Joe Montana and the Niners busted the Broncos in New Orleans.
Jerry!
Nearly 2 decades passed in the NBA before the Lakers won back-to-back titles in '87 and '88. Baseball's about due. The last repeat World Series winner, the 1977 and 78 New York Yankees.
Man, and they would get to the World Series.
I mean, if our team just stays healthy, we play to our ability, there's no way we can lose.
Man. Oh, they did.
All right, this is going to kind of be like watching a parade go by because there's going to be all kinds of fireworks and festivities out here tonight. And, of course, the A's players from last year's championship team will receive their World Series rings. Honorees tonight will be Ricky Henderson, the most valuable player in the American League Championship Series, and then Dave Stewart for the World Series. So we're just going to try to stay with this thing and guide you around the Oakland Coliseum tonight. They've already.
By the way, Stu is warming up because he's, of course, pitching on opening night.
Some fireworks, and they'll have fireworks along the way this evening, Joe.
Wayne, I think one thing when you look at this team that I was certainly impressed about as we start to see some of the ceremonies now at home plate.
You know what else is crazy, too? To look at Ricky Henderson wearing that A's jersey, that athletics across the front, the wedding gown white, Kelly green, more of a hunter green here, and the Fort Knox gold. And to know that jersey, I mean, even until the final Oakland A's game at the Coliseum, that jersey never changed. That look of the Coliseum, look at the dugout painted green and gold, that really never even changed. All of that remained unchanged until the very end.
That's the American League president, Dr. Bobby Brown, a former third baseman for the New York Yankees, who will be giving Ricky Henderson the most valuable player trophy for the American League Championship Series. Henderson, as you well know, had a sensational series. He hit 400 in that series, 2 home runs. He scored 8 runs. He had 8 stolen bases. He had 7 walks, and every time you looked up, he was on base and doing something to Toronto.
Ricky came over in '89, right from the Yankees, and at that point, it was kind of a banged up, bruised up Oakland A's team, and Jose and Mark were going through stuff, and it wasn't a certainty that they were going to do anything like win the World Series in '89, but when they got Ricky, it was like hitting the afterburners.
Kind kind of appropriate about Ricky as well, that this is the season in which he'll, in all likelihood, become the all-time stolen base leader, break Lou Brock's record, and tie Cobb along the way. And
that's right, which he ultimately did.
Appropriate that happens here in Oakland.
Which it did. It did happen in Oakland.
Where he broke Brock's single-season record.
Yeah, the standing ovation now, Joe, for Ricky Henderson as he receives the trophy from Dr. Bobby Brown, the American League president. As you mentioned, Ricky Henderson, currently third lifetime steals in Major League history, needs 68 more, and that's a pretty normal season for him. As you see right there, needs 68 more to pass Lou Brock as the king of baseball stealers all time in baseball. Now that's not a boo you're hearing, because Dave Stewart is the next one to be on it.
No, I think they were booing Stu. That wasn't Stu. That was Boo. No, it was Stu. Look at Ricky Land out there.
I knew it was either that or Boog Powell was in the ballpark, but it's got to be Stu.
A 20-game winner each of the last 3 years. The World Series most valuable player.
And that's the voice of Roy Steele right there. Legendary voice of God at the Coliseum. The first PA announcer. If there's one thing I wish I had that somebody else ever had in terms of like broadcasting and presenting, it would be Roy Steele's voice. Dave Stewart. Which is also crazy, right? After all this, I mean, I'm a kid watching this. I eventually got to know Dave Stewart. I think he's in the bullpen. Well, this is videotape. That's not him in the moment.
Set a goal of 25 wins in 1990, putting a little pressure on himself. A 20-win season would be his 4th straight. Something
is that good, by the way? 20? Would he get 20 more in 90?
Hasn't been done since Jim Palmer did it for the Orioles in the 70s. Stu's won 62 games the last 3 seasons. That's more than Clemens, Saberhagen, Viola, and Hershiser, all Cy Young Award winners. And that's the one award that has eluded Stewart.
And another great thing, Dave Stewart, he put a goal, as you said, this season for 25 wins, but he actually won 25 last year. 21 during the regular season, 2 wins in the American League Championship Series, and then 2 wins against the Giants in the World Series. Definitely their stopper, definitely the man that they go to.
Looks like they're going to be giving Stu that trophy later on, which, by the way, I saw them carry it away. He has that in his home office, which was on television with us this past baseball season in the background. So I think Stu's going to come out and get his ring later. Maybe this just didn't time out with his warm-ups.
Well, the amazing statistic about Stewart is that he hasn't missed a turn in the rotation since he came to the A's. And that's just says something about your versatility and your longevity.
Well, Joe, right there at home plate is, along with Dr. Bobby Brown now, is Walter Haas, the owner of the Oakland A's, and Wally Haas, his son, the president. And they will receive the Commissioner's Trophy, which is symbolic of the World Championship. Let's go now to PA announcer Roy Steele.
Baseball. Dr. Bobby Brown is now presenting Walter and Wally Haas with their 2nd consecutive American League Championship trophy and the Commissioner's Trophy, proclaiming the A's as the world champion.
That is so special. That voice, that ownership, that family, that trophy, all of that right there, unbelievable. Honestly. Young people will never get to really understand this.
All right, you see the owner, Walter Haas, and Wally Haas, the president, out there receiving congratulations from Dr. Bobby Brown.
There's Michael Zagaris, by the way. I'm trying to point to him. Let's see. Right there, you can see the back of his hat. Team photographer who was in that role until the very end of the Oakland A's at the Coliseum. But there he is, almost a quarter century ago, still doing his thing out there.
We'll be back with more right after this.
Oh, commercial break time. Opening night presented by...
Today's opening night special is brought to
Miller
you...
Lite.
Welcome back now live to the
No time for that.
Coliseum, where a few of the A's regulars are loosening up out in the outfield in the Minnesota Twins.
I don't know for sure, but I would bet that I was probably here on that night.
Are being introduced to this crowd. Now let's go upstairs and meet a couple guys who will be doing the television broadcast for the Oakland A's network this season and doing
Monty Moore,
some games that we do here on Channel 5. A couple old friends, a couple guys that work hard every time they're up in that booth. Monty Moore and Ray Fosse. Gentlemen.
All right, thank you, Wayne, and hi, everybody. Well, Ray, as we look at this thing tonight, it's really easy to get caught up in fantastic excitement. This is my 28th Major League opener tonight, and I feel just like I did 28 years ago for the first one almost. Only there's one big difference. We were not celebrating a world championship that many years ago.
The great Monty Moore, who recently, a couple years ago, reached out and just passed along some very encouraging words and messages my way. And I mean, to get that from somebody like this, and obviously we're witnessing Ray Fosse in some of his first years of work in broadcasting here. It's just, this is special to see this, to be quite honest, and to listen and enjoy. So that's what we'll do here.
Tonight the A's are, and I think the most amazing thing about an opening night when you can pass out a world championship trophy as the Haas family just received and also raise that championship flag. Players get the ring. There's nothing more exciting than that. But more importantly, Tony La Russa, as we mentioned earlier, wants to forget about that very quickly, start thinking about 1990, and that's the number one objective for him right now.
Okay, now, Ray, what are they going to have to do to win again? It's one of the hardest things in sport to do. To win that American League Championship the second year in a row was tough. Now they're trying for 3.
Well, I think the most important thing is to be healthy, and the A's this year are healthy, and Ricky Henderson, of course, being with the ball club, Jose.
Look at that group right there. Walt Weiss, Jose, Terry Steinbach. There's Carney. Stan Javier to the left. Is that who that is?
Have just one dynamic year.
Batting practice tonight, Ray, he was out of sight.
He is just so strong and just ready to have a tremendous year. But I think the biggest thing is not be complacent, not assume that you're going to go out and win the ball game. They have great pitching, they have great defense, great offense, they have a great manager, great coaching staff, great ownership, a lot of greats, but you still have to perform on the field, and that's what they expect to do. And Tony La Russa, as we've always talked about, is the best manager making sure they do that.
It's like Ray was just always so consistent. Rest in peace, Ray Fosse. Like his delivery, his thoughts, his cadence, I mean, he was as sharp right there as he was in the final couple of years that he worked on the broadcast. So that was special right there.
That's the thing they work for right there, that beautiful trophy. There are 3 of those down in the entryway to the Coliseum right now, the A's offices. They'll add that 4th one tonight.
And, of course, I don't think it could happen to a greater ownership than the Haas family, and they have done so many great things for this community and the ball club, and I think it's very appropriate for them.
Preach.
Well, Ray, they're just about ready to hand out the thing that all the players in all sports seem to talk about more than the money even, and that's the championship ring. Wayne and Joe will be back with you for that ceremony when we come back.
All right, going to break. I think they cut out the commercials on this one, too.
Welcome back to the Oakland Coliseum.
We got fireworks.
The fans and the players themselves are being treated to a fireworks display of what their World Series ring will look like. That is high.
It's right above the ice plant.
The bleachers out in left field. And
look at the old scoreboard out there.
Field, you'll see over to the right as we pull away is a true rendition, a photograph of the 1989 World Championship ring that will be presented.
There's the one Jumbotron, the Diamond Vision out there.
Display just now going on down in right field. There you see it, an A's pinwheel.
See, I kind of remember this. That's why I'm pretty sure I was there.
Fireworks high above the crowd again back in
the ice plant
where Canseco almost reached the ice plant a couple times earlier today, Joe, over in the left field side.
You know, a lot of people talk about who will be the hitter who hits one up on the ice plant here. That's probably about a 500-foot plus shot. And Jose Canseco, a lot of people speculate, might just get all
the ice plant, by the way, inside the Coliseum, above the bleachers, but also, you know, famously outside the Coliseum, like on the perimeter.
No one's ever done that, reach that ice plant in either left or right field here at the Oakland Coliseum.
Looks like a nice night out there.
It's itching in this Oakland dugout, ready to get out there now and line up along that third base line to go out there and receive their championship rings. I think it's very symbolic of
Mark McGuire, Steiny,
and Ray Fosse and Monty Moore were right.
Mike Gallego.
When the guys get that ring in any sport, they covet that more than anything.
Lance Blankenship over there
for 2 hours straight without taking their eyes off it. And I think and this team, I think, has a chance to repeat as well, Joe. And Tony La Russa, it really keeps them channeled, really keeps them focused. Just tonight when he came out to talk to us before the game.
There's Tony.
Tony, how are you? And he said, "I'll let you know at 10:30."
Exactly.
You know, he's really, this celebration to him is, it's okay. He's thinking about 8 o'clock when they tee it up. There he is right there and getting his World Series ring being presented out there by, once again, Dr. Bobby Brown and the owner of the A's, Walter Haas.
I think Tony might be allowing himself to reflect back on 1989 just for a moment now. He likes to stay focused, but you notice he opened that thing up and he wanted to get his look at it firsthand as well.
Sure. You can't, it'd take you 3 days to wipe that smile off his face right now. But that is really great. Dave McKay, one of the coaches. Renee Latchman.
And again, just to look at the scenes here and understand that the jerseys, the logo never changed. The Coliseum didn't change all the way until the end. And this was the last chance to see anything like this. They didn't win it in 90. In fact, they didn't even get to have the parade after 89. Let's also remember that. There was no parade because of the earthquake. A's swept the Giants. Kind of went uncelebrated in the city of Oakland, the East Bay, and beyond. It was just not the right place and time to have a World Series parade after that devastating earthquake. So this was kind of the only real thing, only real celebration that this group ever got to have.
Thinks of these assistant coaches, the coaching staff of manager Tony La Russa, is that tonight, collectively, the coaching staff will throw out the first ball.
The training staff
getting rings as well.
That was is that Barry Weinberger?
There's Barry. Yeah.
That's Barry right there, and then Larry Davis is behind him.
Frank Sinchek.
Stu talks about Frank Sinchek all the time.
Well, forever.
And eventually, Voos is going to come out here. A young Voos. There he is.
Billy Ball era.
Steve Vucinich, who was the longtime clubhouse manager.
Visiting clubhouse manager.
See,
does a great job.
Then he was the A's clubhouse manager. Oh, Stu!
The players, and here's the Oakland native Dave Stewart. And Joe, there's some concern with Stewart starting tonight in these festivities. You know, will he have a chance to get down to the bullpen and get warm and do what he's supposed to do to take on the Twins at 8 o'clock? Talked to Dave Duncan earlier about that.
Yeah, Dave was saying that last year he's in the middle of his warm-ups when they're doing this, as Jamie Quirk comes out to
gotta go.
The ring. They turned out the lights when Stu was right in the middle of his warm-ups, and he had to just wait, and he is worried a little bit about
Jamie Quirk.
cooling off.
Well,
I could name this whole team still.
Now we're making our way down to the left field bullpen to get that taken care of.
There's Carney. I saw that ring the other day. He was still wearing it, obviously.
And someone who the A's are looking to for leadership this year, with Dave Parker being gone now.
Felix Jose. Spent some time
Forgot about Felix Jose.
Played some at Tacoma.
Walt Weiss, shortstop.
When Canseco was hurt.
Rookie of the year.
Walt Weiss, here's the guy that everyone wondered how the A's would be able to recover when he was injured last year. And here's one of the guys who filled in so ably when he was hurt, Mike Gallego.
You know, one of my personal favorites, Mike Gallego. I think I like the way that he moved around, and he's not a natural shortstop. He moved over there when Weiss was hurt, did a sensational job, and even picked up things at the plate a lot.
Lance Blankenship we just saw, and now Gene Nelson, one of the A's long relievers, and again one of the most versatile players on the team who can step in and do whatever role on the mound you ask him to do.
Mike Moore, big part of the World Series win.
I think they have the best bullpen in baseball now.
Starting pitcher, the game Stu didn't start. Oh boy.
Mike Moore, number 21.
Ricky.
A's starter, and here is Ricky Henderson.
Just look at the vibe of the Coliseum on this night.
Parker void the 97 RBIs that he had last year. They forget that Ricky Henderson will be here for an entire season.
That's right. At this point, Ricky hadn't even been there a full season. Hadn't been back a full season. Big Mac. Ron Hasse.
Number 28,
the slimmed down version of Ron Hasse.
He lost about 20-25 pounds during the offseason. When you get over 30, you have to start doing that.
It's harder too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know that Joe Fonzie's 30 years old at that point.
Kurt Young, a hard luck guy last year, and
turned into an A's pitching coach for so many years.
Things turned around this season.
Jose
Canseco.
Look at the hair
from this crowd.
Jose said, and
Bobby
I heard
Welch,
him say
rest in peace. He's coming up here.
Of a 50-50 season, 50 home runs and 50 stolen bases.
I heard him say that to you.
Ohtani just got 50-50.
Who's to doubt it?
Terry Steinbach.
That's Dave Otto.
Rick Honeycutt.
We're getting pretty close to 43 here. We're going to get to Eck pretty soon.
Eckersley does, but you see this left-hander coming out of the bullpen and pitched to one man in the 8th inning or the 9th inning, and has done a remarkable job to set Eckersley up.
Is that right?
The other thing that he did when Eckersley was hurt last year, he did come in and pick up some saves when the A's needed someone to pick up the slack.
Look at that. I told you those guys, it's hard for them to keep their eyes off it. And it really is, and I don't blame them.
Dave Henderson, kind of a
he bashed him.
project by the A's.
I mean, to go from Hendu to Eck back to back.
And particularly in the postseason. Great late season and postseason heroic. And the best reliever the last 2 years in baseball, without a question of a doubt, right there, Dennis Eckersley.
Interesting to see this.
A lot of turtlenecks, a lot of long hair.
As he comes toward the end of his career.
Remember, the A's were with him for some time last year when he had rotator cuff problems, but he came back strong at the end of the year, and of course you know what he did in the playoffs and in the World Series.
Welcome back, number 17.
I'll tell you, a very heartfelt moment out here right now for a lot of fans, and especially number 17 who's trotting out there. That's Mike Norris, former A's pitcher who hasn't been on a major league roster for years and years and made the squad this year. We'll go to break. We'll take a timeout and we'll be right back.
What a story. I forgot about that.
And the A's are next, and keep in mind tonight at 11 o'clock we'll have post-game interviews and all the highlights. For Joe Fonzie, Ray Fosse, and Monty Moore, this is Wayne Walker. Enjoy the game, and we'll see you at 11.
These shows always end with a little closing montage.
Goodbye. I mean, this is crushed. And McGuire may have just tied it. First pitch, see you later.
Getting goosebumps.
Seiko bids for the second homer of the inning. If it's fair, he's
hit it in the 5th deck in Toronto.
Settles into the upper deck. Oh, my goodness.
Look at the Coliseum. Kevin Mitchell swinging. There's the World Series. Robbie Thompson swinging. Steiny. See, I could just tell by the swing. Little Tony Phillips at the World Series at Candlestick. Wow. Oh, that right there. I'm going to rewind that. That's a famous still photo, too, of Jose at the World Series bashing Carney and Ricky. Wow. Final out. Tony Phillips. Yes. Al Michaels with the big call. I just never get to see that again. At least not in the same way, that's for sure. Well, that's the end of the video, and again, world champs of 1989. This was opening night of 1990. Hopefully you enjoyed that, appreciated it, maybe a little bit of a history lesson, but I wanted to make sure that existed out in the world to pass that along to future generations so that you got to experience what got me interested in baseball and sports and maybe even broadcasting to a certain degree. So that's the A's final World Series win and rings in the city of Oakland. Thumbs up. You made it here to the end of this video. Really appreciate that down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. I'd love to see you back here next time.